Hey Tammy, I am going to read your energetic signature, and it's really windy out here today, so my hair is going to be all over the place, but it's very synchronistic with your energetic reading, so we'll get into it, okay? So when I went into your energy field, I saw this little bird, and it was hopping on the ground, and I was like, oh, hello, and I picked him up and put him on my finger. He was like really tiny, and I said, are you trying to show me something? And he said yes, and flew off, and all of a sudden I landed in this city, and I said, where are we? And your higher self was telling me that it was a city called Atropolis, and I was like Metropolis from DC, and she was like, no. That's Metropolis, this is Atropolis. And I said, okay. It was giving very much kind of like Greek energy, but different, because this is like a different planetary system, but it was like similar vibrationally. Anyway, so I was walking around, and then I found this gentleman, and he was actually a different timeline version of you. And in this place, the men are really pushed to become these warrior beings. Gladiator is not the right word because it's like an earthly term, but you can think of it kind of like that. Like a roaming gladiator, if you will. But so he was telling me that all of his life, that his parents and family and society have been like, oh, this is what you need to do, but he never wanted to do that. He had like a very soft energy about him, very much like tapped into his divine feminine energy, and that just was not the life for him, and he just always gave pushback. And he said, I just really want to be a merchant. Like he wanted to go work in the city and sell like fruits and vegetables, and he just wanted to vibe. And the reason that he was coming forward, because sometimes these different timeline versions have a similar karmic lesson as we do in this incarnation. And so he was saying that sometimes you feel like, what did he say? He said sometimes you feel like you're not on the front lines of the collective consciousness shift, and that could be, a lot of people have like arsenal energy that are helping with toppling things down. A lot of people help with like protests. A lot of people help with like what we call like groundwork, but that's not for everybody, because everybody has a different path and purpose. And I'm not saying that you're not helping in the collective, you just have a different way of doing it. And sometimes we feel really guilty about that. But a lot of empaths and lightworkers that I have come across in life, sometimes they have chosen a more peaceful path in this incarnation, but there's other incarnations where they were out there, okay? They were out there on the front lines, like super warrior arsenal energy, and that takes a lot from you, okay? And we can't necessarily do that every single incarnation. And so he was coming forward to say like, hey, when you are feeling kind of overwhelmed by looking at other people's journeys and what they're doing, don't let that detract from what you are doing, because you are doing just as much in your lane. If that makes sense, in the way that you are helping others. And sometimes you working on your own peace and self-love and self-awareness and finding joy and magic and whimsy, that is helping people in the collective. Because everybody that comes in contact with you is going to be forever changed, because a lot of people haven't experienced those things in their lives, right? And so they come across a being like yourself, and they're like, wow, how do I get on that vibration and frequency? And then you have your students, if you will, and they may not be professional students, but cosmic students, if you will, because you have a lot of wisdom and knowledge. You never know too, some of the persons that you are guiding in life, maybe they have spent a lot of incarnations in the warrior arsenal energy, and they need a break as well, okay? Maybe a couple incarnations from now they're going to get back into it, but we need a break ski for a couple of them, okay? And so you serve as a good leader in giving people that permission slip. He also wanted me to mention too that he was very intuitive, and he felt deep in his soul that if he had gone on to become this warrior, that he would not have lived. Like, he could tell that he would have been on a timeline that would have been destructive to self. And he was telling me to tell you that sometimes we don't always need to figure out why we're repelled by certain things. Like, we just need to listen to our intuition and go towards the things that light us up. the reason I was mentioning that it was windy today, after I got done speaking with him, I got back to this time and space, and it's very windy today, and the wind was speaking to me and was telling me to tell you that you have a deep connection with the wind spirit, like the elements itself, and that you can hear these, oh, there's this lizard over here dancing. Okay. It's hard to distract me, but you have this connection with wind spirits in multitudes of incarnations, where you can hear the subtle messages that a lot of other people are not able to hear. And when they told me that, I started hearing, I think it's Colors of the Wind, and it's a song that Pocahontas sings in the Disney movie, and your higher self was saying to listen to that song because it's going to help you get some intuitive downloads about speaking to the wind spirits. And then I asked them if there was anything else that you could do to kind of reawaken this within self, and they said working with birds. And when they said that, I saw your fingers like this, and there was a string that was tied around them, and it was representative of the interconnectedness of wind and birds. And they were saying that if you either listen to spirit guide bird meditations, you can find them on YouTube, or you research about different birds, like spirit animals. You can literally go on Google and type in like robin spirit animal, pelican spirit animal, albatross spirit animal. that is going to help you be able to hear the wind more fine-tunedly, and it is also going to help you with your clairaudient abilities. And so if you can even go outside to do this, like when the wind is blowing, it doesn't have to be blowing hard, okay? It can even be still, like there's still wind, okay, going regardless. But if you can sit and listen to the messages in tandem with researching about the bird spirits every day for the next 30 days, you're going to get a huge upgrade in your clairaudient abilities and be able to hear the wind much more clearly. Really interesting what the wind spirits were showing me with the birds, and it was just so many different types, and they were all flying, and they could hear the wind in different perceptions, because all birds are different, right? And so you are going to be able to channel the wind through the different ears of the birds and to be able to pick up on the different tonalities and the different types of messaging that they receive. And so again, help you with the clairaudient abilities. And lastly, I asked your higher self if there was any messages that she wanted me to relay to you, and she said, yes, I want you to tell her that she is gorgeous on the inside and on the outside, and that she radiates like the sun. And I was like, oh, that is so beautiful. I will tell her. And so I want to thank you so much for letting me read for you, and I hope you have a very magical day.